the media has put together, which diminishes what
like,
it is.
It's
It
like
is
putting sugar over shit.
absolutely,
Right?
that's right. It's pedophile behavior. It's rape in most cases, and in my case, it was not one incident, but it was 6 years of rape, which means let's talk about what it was: anal sex, oral sex, and the worst things that a 12-year-old could possibly go through.
How was it brought to you? How did he lure you into this thing of anal sex and this? I mean, how did he approach you? So the others who are watching this show may be going through something similar, but afraid to talk, afraid to tell. But how will you approach? How did this madman bring this to you?
Well, much like Dateline, To Catch a Predator, and Oprah Winfrey, who talk a lot about this type of behavior, indicate that the folks that do this, they do this in a very strategic way. He approached me as a priest would, as a friend would. He befriended my family, he befriended the community, and he enticed me with friendship and nurturing and gifts, clothing, toys.
Cotton candy balloons,
There you
Disney
go.
World,
There you go.
Sugar Daddy.
There you
yeah.
go. You know, just to give you an example, I went to Rome with this priest. I went to Canada with this priest. I would go to a abbey in Iowa continuously with him.
So I mean, that sounds like a husband and wife relationship.
Well, when once my abuse started, there was, I tell you.
Okay, tell us about the first time.
The first
The
time.
first time when he brought it to you.
Well, there was a courting type of period. And a courting type of period was, you know, he was this innocent. He was totally appropriate. You know, he would take me bowling and take me shopping and buy me things that my mother could never afford and things that I never thought of having. You know, going to the show, living in the projects, you know, you did that maybe once a year.
Correct.
But we was doing this every other day. Going into the Gap and buying me every color quarter pack.
How old was he at the time?
He had to be in his, I would say, early 40s.
And how old were you?
I was 12.
Okay, carry on. Go ahead.
So he would buy me these gifts, and I remember that he bought me, when these little console games, the video games came out, he bought me this Frogger game and I believe Donkey Kong, and those were unheard of games, but those were the hottest games that you could have. And, you know, so he built up my trust in him. The first time that he abused me, we were sitting in the rectory of St. Charles Lwanga, which
Yeah, it's amazing, sitting in the directory and he went into your rectum. But go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's what it is.
Go ahead.
And we were sitting there watching TV, and he was hugging me with one arm, and he used that arm to unbutton my shirt. Now, I'm 12 years old. You know, yeah, I was uncomfortable, but you want to please those adults that you care for. It's like wanting to please your mother. You don't want to disappoint your mother. You don't want to disappoint your father. You don't want to disappoint a teacher, so forth and so on. He put his hand down my shirt and began rubbing on my nipple. For the first time, I became I became erect because of stimulation.
Erection, he got a hard on.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Right. And so immediately when he put his hand down there and was rubbing my nipple, the door opened, and it was Father Philip Kiley. Now, Father Philip Kiley was the associate pastor of St. Charles Lwanga. He came with Father Stewart. He was a longtime friend of Father Stewart, and so they knew each other very well. Well, when Father Kiley walked in, I just assumed that I was saved, that I wouldn't have to struggle with these feelings and have to try to, in my mind, figure out what was going on. Well, Father Stewart never moved his hand. He never moved his hand, and Father Kiley never said anything. And you would think that that meant that Father Kiley walked out the room, but Father Kiley didn't. Father Kiley stood